Welcome to Drovers TV. I'm John Hamilton.
And I'm Terry Apostle. Drovers TV is the latest offering from Drovers, America's beef business source.
We hope everyone's having a great week so far, and you'll want to stick around for today's Drover to Drovers segment.
In it, we'll share a few strategies for keeping your business profitable. Here's what else is coming up on today's show.
We return to Rabbit Creek Ranch as the crew processes cattle for AI.
We will also have some advice from Dr. Joe Dalton for successful AI.
And we learn how DNA testing can prevent calving problems.
In our last cast, we headed to Rabbit Creek Ranch in northern Colorado to visit Dr. George Seidel, a rancher and a reproductive physiologist with Colorado State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Seidel and a group of students was synchronizing a group of heifers for an experiment on a new estrus synchronization method. Now the crew is processing cattle for AI, and we learn more about Dr. Seidel's breeding goals.
Our breeding program here is to get as much weaning weight as we can while keeping the birth weights down. Our main customers for bulls are people who breed heifers, and so we like geesey calving bulls. One other problem we have with the current genetics is that sometimes there's too much milk in the pedigrees of the bulls. And in our country here, we don't send the lunch basket along with the cows. They've got to live off the grass, off the short grass that's available.
Dr. Seidel uses artificial insemination on his registered Angus females, matching AI sires with individual females based on genetic type. He also says he uses sexed semen primarily for breeding heifers.
We use sexed semen on the heifers, and we do that for a couple of reasons. One of the big advantages of sexed semen is that if you're going for heifer calves now, is the calves are about 5 pounds lighter if they're heifers than if they're bulls, and so there's less calving difficulty with breeding for heifer calves instead of bull calves. The second is that the fertility of the heifers generally is a little bit higher than the cows, and sexed semen has a bit lower fertility than normal semen, and so if we start breeding our heifers just a little bit early and they don't get pregnant with sexed semen, we then breed them with conventional semen. But in that way we get heifer calves from our heifers, and from a genetic standpoint, the youngest critters in your herd should be the best genetically, and so those make good replacement heifers too.
This experiment intends to synchronize females that are not cycling with those who are, and make timed AI more convenient without a need for heat checking. At this point, Dr. Seidel says it looks promising, with most cows showing signs of heat as they come in for AI.
The treatments we're studying are looking very encouraging. We just bred 135 cows in a little bit over 3 hours, so I have a very good team here helping with these experiments, and we'll see what the pregnancy rates are like in a couple of months.
While we're on the topic of artificial insemination in cattle, Dr. Joe Dalton from Idaho State University offers us some tips for maximizing the success rate in AI in today's expert tip.
I think one of the things that we probably forget about is proper semen handling. And that would include everything from storing the semen within a liquid nitrogen tank, to removing it properly, to also thawing semen, and also then placing it in the cow at the right site at the right time.
Dr. Dalton also summarizes a strategy for successful AI involving 4 key components. Take a look.
The thing to remember specifically with semen handling is time, temperature, hygiene, and skill. Time is very important in that any semen that is thawed and used for artificial insemination should be placed in the cow within 10 to 15 minutes after thawing. Temperature, we need to use the right temperature to thaw semen, 95 to 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we need to control that temperature from the thaw bath to the cow. Hygiene, we want to do everything in a cleanly manner. And then time, temperature, hygiene, and skill. The last one would be skill. We want to place the semen in the proper location in the reproductive tract, that being the uterine body.
Dr. Jim Gibb heads up the technical services team at Igenity and is an expert in applying DNA profiling to genetic selection in cattle. He now offers tips for using DNA tests to minimize calving problems in your herd.
One of the issues may be you have cows that have had high birth weight calves. They may have been born dead, unfortunately, or they may have just been high birth weight calves. So you can pull samples from the calves and then match those to a list of possible bulls that may have sired those calves. The second way is to use the Igenity profile to test bulls ahead of time and identify those that may potentially cause calving difficulty, because we do include maternal calving ease in our Igenity profile.
Dave Beasley & Sons Livestock is a diversified family cattle operation in southern Illinois. The family runs a registered Angus herd as well as commercial Angus cattle. If that doesn't keep them busy enough, they also background about 2,000 calves each year and have a feedlot where they finish around 2,000 head per year. For this Drover to Drover segment, Jeff Beasley tells us about some of the family strategies for keeping their operation profitable.
We're continuing to try to do more value added with our cattle, such as source and age verification. We've got to capture all the premiums we can. That's the one thing we do have a little control over. So I think working toward that end, I think has been our biggest push.
In addition to adding value to their cattle, Jeff explains the Beasley family is working on ways to control production costs.
You know, looking for alternative feedstuffs. We were fortunate that recently we were able to start feeding some wet distillers grain because an ethanol plant opened up. Taking advantage of the cost savings there is going to be a big benefit for us as well.
Finally, Jeff says building diversity into the operation helps the family spread risk and remain flexible through volatile economic times.
We're not tied into just strictly finishing. We can background cattle. We're doing a lot of custom feeding and giving our customers the option of we can background their cattle for 45, 60, 100 days if they want, and then they may sell them as yearlings, or if they want us to take them to finish. I think being flexible in this and diversified, I think, is key.
To close things out this week, we return to Rabbit Creek Ranch for some images of an annual Western tradition.
Take a look at these pictures as friends and neighbors gather to help out for this spring's Branding Day.
And be sure to come back in 2 weeks for more of the industry information you need. Take care.